we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. I'm getting chastised because we're tardy. I feel like we're at Lakers History 101. By the way, Sean and Joe, another esteemed member of our faculty, L. Rob, wants to be a part of LH 101 with next time we do have old class. Just want to let you guys know. It's Gerald Glassford. Come right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Go ahead and check out our latest episode. It is really a good conversation that Josh and I had on where we stand with the movie and video game industries. Really opinionated, really was a great conversation. I really hope you get a chance to check it out. Pop Culture Cosmos, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, as well, the reason why we are tardy. Inside Sports Fantasy Football, we had a great conversation on NFL Week 13. What about all the teams that are competing for playoff spots? What about them and the teams that are atop the AFC and NFC? We talk about them also as well. Picks for NFL Week 13. And of course, woof, 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 the Doghouse, plus a really good conversation we had at the end, which was why we were late, on the college football playoffs. We just like talking sports. There you go. And you can check it out coming up either on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel on YouTube right now or Inside Sports Fantasy Football, wherever you get your podcasts on Wednesday morning. But also as well, go ahead and check out Joe Soro. He's at LakersBall.com. It's Ox1947. And also he owns a company that you got to support today, Simblades. Simblades with a Y.com. Magic Man has been trying some Magic Mind. Go ahead and check out what they're doing today. The great supplement that can really help or may help you. It may help your focus, your attention, and does a whole lot more. Go ahead and check out what it's doing. He's actually chugging it right now for better focus and attention, especially when Joe goes off on one of his rants. He wants to stay focused and attention, and he likes the taste of it. There you go. MagicMind.com. All the Black Friday specials are over, but we've got a special for you. Go ahead, order a 15 or 30 bottle set right there at magicmind.com and just type in the code at checkout, Lakers20, and you'll get 20% off your order right there for you at magicmind.com.
And just think, Gerald, echinacea honey, the purple and gold of immunology in nature.
Interesting indeed. Magicmind.com. Also, as well, our good friends, Lakerholics.com, where Jamie Sweet with his 5 Things articles. Jamie, thank you so much, by the way. Big shout out to you for answering the latest Rodell email. So I didn't have to. So I appreciate you doing that. Guy gets tired after a while. But I answer a lot of comments on all the channels and all the other channels, Facebook, YouTube, what have you. I'm just glad he was able to go ahead and do it in place for me today. And that was actually a very good answer by him to Rodell as far as what happened yesterday in that game. So go ahead and check out what he's doing and his 5 Things articles, and also Laker Tom, the #1 Lakers blogger that's out there. The guy I disagree with and the guy that doesn't look so good right now with his Darvin Ham assessment after a 44-point loss. But go ahead and check him out anyways at Lakerholics.com. Also, is where our good friends, of course, Empire Jeff TV, also as well, Lakers in 5, also as well, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights, and also as well, of course, the Larry, oh man, I always got to get his name right. The Larry Lakers Dribbling Chit Chat, I think it's, yeah, think it is dribbling chit chat. Yeah, something like that. I'll make sure I got that right. So everybody goes, because Tony B, he's just starting out. And if you can help him out, he's got some really good conversation. The Larry Lakers Dribbling Chit Chat. I got that right. I've subscribed to it, so hopefully you will too. And remember, speaking of subscribing, please subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live or are supposed to go live if our conversation on the college football playoffs doesn't go long, right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Well, the Lakers coming off getting destroyed in that dumpster fire of a game yesterday where the Lakers lost by 44 points, the absolute worst loss of LeBron's career. And he wasn't thrilled about it. So while we were venting to you here on YouTube and Facebook and all of our great social media partners out there, funny thing happened in the locker room he was approached by reporters, obviously wanting to get his thoughts on the game, and pretty much was asked, "Do things have to change?" And he said, "A lot, a lot has to change." So we asked our panelists today, what will change? And is that really realistic at this point in time? Will it change? Or is it just going to remain the same? I have my doubts. I think there'll be some tweaks. I think there'll be some minor things changes. I know Cam Reddish is listed now as probable, so he is most likely coming back for tomorrow's game against Detroit. That's a plus. So that's a change right there. But I think the type of changes that he's really talking about are yet to happen and won't happen for some time. But I remain optimistic that something will change as long as LeBron keeps saying things like he did yesterday. And here today to discuss that, the two awesome guys, part of Lakers Fast Break indeed. First up is the Magic Mind himself, the guy from Toronto, the madman from Toronto. He did get out of Toronto traffic to drink some Magic Mind. MagicMind.com. Use Lakers code Lakers20 right there for you to get 20% off today. It is Magic Man Sean Grice. And Sean, great to have you here, my friend. When you heard or read LeBron's statement in regards to that, and a lot had to change, this is a team that's 10-8, playing like a 500 team. Joe actually said it best. I'm going to give Joe props. I give Joe props whenever he says something that is very sound, and you guys, whether you guys like it or not, is just sometimes the cold hard truth. He said this team is playing like a 500 or barely above team that's probably going to be an easy out in the first round of the playoffs. If it's different, then like LeBron says, a lot, Magic Man, has to change.
A lot, a lot, a lot. He said it 3 times. 3 times. 3 times. I'm not sure if anybody gets that joke. That's a Fight Club joke. But anyway, um, yeah, he said it 3 times and he meant it, Gerald. And sometimes, someone's either exasperation or excitement can kind of be lost in translation, especially in print. Like it's best to kind of hear somebody speak those words and then try and make an educated interpretation of what he really meant. He's pissed off. He's pissed off. It's finally coming to a head, and we've been talking about this for a while, Gerald. All the bad habits, all what we think is bad preparation. I mean, we can't speak to it because we don't know, but what we're seeing is bad prep, Gerald. Bad prep from the coaching staff, bad prep from the players, bad prep from the training staff. It's a lot of bad prep going on. Fundamentals are poor at best. Like the fundamentals of boxing out, um, working a screen to the nth degree rather than half-assing it, which is what D'Lo was doing a lot in that Cavs game in the first half, Gerald. He did it a lot in the Sacramento game about 10 days ago, and he did it a lot in Denver in the first game. He's got everybody's got tendencies. It's not just him. But the fact is that a lot of the negativity is being drawn out now. Like Gerald, when we heard Tom Brady discussing the mediocrity of what he's watching, it's important to note that a person like that is very detail oriented. So they notice a lot of things with the naked eye that most people wouldn't because they've had a lot of practice and they understand what they're watching. LeBron's the same way. He's not the least bit unaware of what's going on. He's smarter than all three of us. He's smarter than just about anybody else who's played the game. He knows what he's watching is just bad basketball, and they're just finding a way to squeak out wins. Talent isn't enough. It's never enough. You have to have other attributes and characteristics in your favor, and one of them is preparation. Gerald, I did some research. In the 25 games that the Lakers had a run with new additions, they went 18-7. Do you know how many times they had a lead in the first quarter in those 25 games, Gerald? Just take a guess.
I'm going to say 3.
Joe?
5.
Surprisingly, he was 14-11.
Really?
Yes, but he got worse as the playoffs went on. In the first round, the Lakers won the first quarter 4-2. In the second round, it was 3-3. In the third round, where they lost all 4 games by a point differential of 24 points, Gerald, they lost the first quarter twice. And in both of those games, they lost by 5 and they lost by 2.
Not good, my friend.
It's not good, and it's boiled over to this season. It's rolled over, boiled over, and now it's simmering. Got to figure a lot of things out. That's what the man said. We didn't say it because a lot of people are saying we're the horse's ass. Well, you heard it from the horse's mouth, Gerald. A lot, a lot, a lot. We know what we're talking about. Our audience our audience knows what they're talking about. Except for those who want to live in fantasy land.
Well, that's quite a list there. I mean, if you remember our show last week on that. Also here today, a good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out today as part of Simblades, simbladeswithay.com. And of course, he roams the virtual halls of LakersBall.com as Oxide 247. It is Joe Soro, and matching that is
Yeah, no, I like. Why does it always seem that there's always a vacancy in Fantasyland, Gerald? We live in reality. We don't have a no vacancy sign. I mean, we should
you
with
know,
some of the brainless out there, but
so we always talk about Laker. We always kid Laker Tom for his seeing everything through purple and gold shaded colors. That the Lakers can do no wrong. You know, he was the last on board, or one of the last on board with Russell Westbrook to finally say, you know what, Russell, I think that's just not going to work out. You know, he's always the first on board to say, "Hey, that was a great trade or a great move by Rob Pelinka, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." You know, that's Laker Tom. He's always Mr. Positive. Rodell, you just see, he's always Mr. Positive. He's already this, you know, calling Max Christie and saying, you know what, we've got to give Max Christie more time. You know, let's just go ahead and have him make mistakes. Doesn't matter if it costs the team or not. Let's just go out there and have him make a ton of mistakes and just, you know, just grow, just, which is great if you're a team that's right in the position of Memphis right now,
Mhm.
or another team that you could say maybe is like, I don't
Detroit.
know, Detroit. Yeah, absolutely. Who we're facing off against tomorrow. Sure. Absolutely. But you're a team that's trying to make the playoffs. You're a team that with LeBron that's trying to go ahead and compete for a championship. You're a team with LeBron when your window is closing. The last thing you want is a guy, oh yeah, the coach told me I'm going to be out here 35 minutes a game just to make mistakes. That's awesome. Awesome indeed. But also here today is Joe Soro. Joe, great to have you here. When you read those comments by LeBron James saying a lot needs to change, I guess the glass half empty guy in myself thinks that not a whole lot can change right away. But will it change, my friend? Will it change to make LeBron happy once again?
No. AD doesn't want to change into a MVP, which is what this team needs. And Darvin Ham doesn't seem to give a lot of concern to basic fundamentals, basic preparation, basic adjustments. He is clueless, useless, and powerless where it matters. And I don't want to make it sound like Darvin Ham is special either. This is the status quo for most NBA coaches. Most NBA coaches are unable to really motivate, prepare, or move anything on their teams. There's a reason why most of them, almost all, get fired within 2 to 3 years. Some, unfortunately, don't have the talent to move on. So I'll give them a little bit of a break. You do have to have extreme talent to really move the needle in a lot of ways. But this team has two needle movers. One is playing out of his mind at his age. The other is playing under his mind every other game, which doesn't really serve any purpose at this point. It's a $60 million dud that we're basically throwing in the air to see if it sticks onto the wall. I at some point this has to stop. The AD is a star discussion is he's a star when he wants to be a star, and it could be that quarter, it could be 5 minutes, it could be an entire game, it could be no games, it could be for a week, it could be for an entire week where he doesn't do well. It is the most bipolar and just useless execution of talent you could probably watch with a man of that kind of talent, and I'm about done with it. LeBron is known to be a passive-aggressive type, so saying something as vague and boring as a lot of things need to change, not surprised at that comment. It also doesn't mean squat, because what is it going to say? What is he going to say? We need to slap. Somebody needs to slap AD in the face and wake him up. Is it going to really wake him up? No. We're going to blame Cam Reddish and Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt for not playing, and that's why the Lakers are struggling. If we're waiting on Cam Reddish and Jared Vanderbilt to win games, or how about this, competing? How about competing? And there's a difference between playing like chumps and competing and losing. And it's a pretty obvious thing. You had mentioned Tom Brady about how he had some words about the current crop in the NFL. There's two things going on with that comment, and it correlates to the current culture in the NBA. It's really a lot of it's pretty much in all sports. I hear Will Clark a lot talk about the mode of his team, the San Francisco Giants, on some of those guys don't even take batting practice, or they might take a few swings and that's it, right? They're not about it. But Tom Brady's preparation, Tom Brady's execution, the good part about that is having, I guess, the will to be great. He has that, to prepare, to go into the details and know how to adapt. But the problem with what Tom said is the reason why the NFL is in this spot is because of Tom Brady, because they don't allow teams to practice the way they did. They don't allow anyone to touch the quarterback, and therefore it dilutes the ability for players to really play all out. And conditioning of football has changed. Conditioning of football, where you had an off season, you had mini camps, you had coaches that were doing 2 days. Now you're not letting them acclimate to that abuse. Now they're very easily tentative. They're very easy to get hurt. And those things happen because when you're hitting that brick over and over again, or that wood that you're going to break, the calluses, the skin, the muscle gets conditioned to do that. And when you don't, if I was to go and punch a center block right now, it would hurt like a mother and I'd probably break my hand. But if there was a seasoned person doing that day in and day out for 4 or 5 years, they're going to be able to do that without feeling pain. It's the same thing in football. It's the same thing going into basketball. These guys are not conditioned to do the fundamentals because, number one, they don't practice. Number two, they don't give a crap. Number three, they're making too much money. Number four, the coach is a moron. So it's like a big pot of trash altogether, and there's not anyone holding them accountable. Guys, the reason why we harp on the fantasy thing, the genesis of the fantasy thing is We have allowed mediocrity to take over everything in our life. We have taught people in our life that it's okay to lie. I'll give you a good example. A lot of you guys will understand this. If your wife comes in with a dress and she says, "How does this make me look? Does this make me look fat?" We have been taught for decades to say, "You look great, honey." Why? Because apparently, for some reason, someone decided to say, you need to lie to your wife just so you can avoid problems with her. Instead of telling her, "Yeah, honey, you do look fat. You need to lose some weight. And if you can, then the dress will look good," right? So imagine now, it just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Next thing you know, 90% of the country is obese. Look at the result of it, right?
So, Joe, you disagree with Plato. You disagree with the white lie is fine as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. You
The
disagree.
white lie is subjective. White lie, as in I will lie to a telemarketer.
But that's a white lie, right? That just
Yes.
technically speaking.
Yes, if we want to go technical, yes. And again, I'm not trying to be a marriage counselor here. It's embedded
No.
in our,
That's critical thinking.
we have conditioned society that fake is okay. It's not just basketball. It's life will eventually creep into sports and everything involved in that. And we've talked about the James Harden situations. We've seen, speaking of Joel Embiid, the guy whined for 2 years and they gave him an MVP. They gave him an MVP because of his whining. Come on, guys. It's not that complicated. You guys keep giving these guys what they want when they cry like babies. So now what? What is the consequence of the Lakers playing like dog crap? The consequences is we're talking about it for 2 hours and we're watching every game. There is no recourse. We're enabling it. I want to make that very clear. The best thing would be to do is to have everyone that's watching stop watching and watch how fast Jeannie and Rob change things. Could you imagine? Imagine if the ratings went to the point where there's 20 people watching the game and there's only 200 people in the stands.
They only care about the honeypot, though. That's the only thing they care about, or she cares about.
What they've done is again, it all comes down to the manipulation, right? Just like any other advertisement. Hey, come eat this mayonnaise, come eat this hamburger. It'll make you feel good, blah, blah, blah. What do you see when we see it every day on playback. What is 90% of the dinks at a game doing?
That's pretty good, Joe.
Okay. Self-absorbed ass wipes. Doesn't matter if it's Tom's age, middle age, stone age, young age. Doesn't matter. Anyone who blames a generation, get out of the house. It has nothing to do with generations anymore. I see old ladies on Instagram showing their ass now. Why? Because they need money. And there's sick people out there watching it, right? I'm here trying to post stuff for my business, and the first thing I see in the search bar is what looks like a 60-year-old lady showing her legs.
Same thing with Twitch, because we're on Twitch. Who are we fighting against right now? We're fighting against gaming streams. That's fine. But we're also fighting against, I don't know, countless women sitting either in a hot tub or a plastic hot tub or just sitting there in a bikini or whatever, doing nothing but just chatting. Just because they're in a bikini that's very revealing and whatnot, which is obviously the guys will just drive their way into instead of us. That's what we're competing against on Twitch.
We are enabling it, and I want you guys to understand this. We, me, Sean, Gerald, we are the problem.
I never had to pay to go into a chat room and have a nice young
Not that.
woman.
I'm talking about the game.
I mean, that's
See,
just
what-
Yes,
Griff, man.
what
That's
the-
just
what-
Griff. It's right there on when you go to the front, when you go to the splash
Right.
screen, because I have to go after I go. I download Twitch to
Look,
go to the
I
audio.
search.
That's what's there. That's all, half the
Yeah,
channels
I
are that.
no, I understand. Yeah, I
Half the channels are Starfield. One channel is
first of all, way too many
Green,
whore
and
ads
half the
on,
other
on
channels
Instagram.
are ladies in bikinis.
Yeah, way too many whore ads, first of all. And I don't mean that in the Daryl Hammond Celebrity Jeopardy SNL funny kind of way. No, this is a problem. And go on, Joseph.
It's there isn't a solution, guys, unless you stop watching. Really stop watching.
See, but I love basketball, right? I love it.
And that's it. The Steelers, right? I'm a Steeler fan. I'm a Laker fan. I'm a Dodger fan.
It's in your blood.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to stop watching your team.
When it gets in your blood, that's when it becomes.
But I will
hard.
say this. College football this year has been phenomenal.
Yeah, but I get asked, Joe. I get asked all the time. You guys are on Twitch? I say yes, we're on Twitch. We've been on Twitch for years. How come you don't follow us on Twitch? Well, you know what? I don't see you on Twitch. The reason why is because all the other channels that are showing bikini lady women right there on Twitch that we have to compete against every single time we go on the air. YouTube doesn't do that, at least not to my knowledge.
No, they have yoga. They have yoga.
Yeah,
people.
that's true. To the point, but yeah, I mean, Facebook, they don't do that. No, it's only on Twitch. That's why I don't think we'll ever be big on Twitch, unless we all start wearing bikinis and sitting next to a hot tub as we talk about the Lakers.
Yeah. Again, I'm sorry for.
Actually, you were in a hot tub and talking about the Lakers, so maybe I
Joe was. Joe
yeah.
has been in a hot tub talking about the Lakers.
But I was having a drink and smoking a cigar. I wasn't showing my ass. But the getting back to the game and getting back to this team, I don't know what they can do to turn the switch. What exactly could happen here where they finally get it? That's going to be the question. Is it going to be a scheme that they put together? Is the chemistry going to get better? I don't see how this team has played together for a while now in terms of LeBron and AD. LeBron and AD still look like they don't really play together after.
How many pick and rolls do they run for each other?
Here's another interesting number, okay? So in LeBron James's career, can you name the 3 players who played the most games with him? I'm pretty sure you both gentlemen could probably name the first one.
Ilgauskas?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Over 600 games with Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Nobody will ever come close to that. Second is Anderson Varejao, 499 games. Almost played 500 games with LeBron James. Third is James Jones. James Jones played with both LeBron in Cleveland and Miami. But do you know where do you think Anthony Davis is on that list, Joe? Of most games played with LeBron. Because they played together 1920, 2021, 21-22, 22-23, and now 23-24.
Well, it's probably going to be a little bit behind Bosch, right?
He is 24th.
Wow. Well, it goes to show you why he left Cleveland, right? Jones, Varejao, Ilgauskas. LeBron's career is an interesting one the longer it gets because he's never really had.
By the way, Dwayne Wade is 4th on that list. So think about that. This is the 5th year that AD and LeBron are playing together. LeBron and Dwayne only played together for 4 years. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a little bit in Cleveland, but that blew up. that blew up. That don't count, Gerald. That don't. I know technically counts, but it. Come on, like you got to be available. That's another problem. He's been available most of the time this year. Is he going to play 70 to 75 games with this because he thinks, Gerald, that if he plays only 75% against Memphis or plays only 85% against Portland, that he could play 100% against Cleveland? Well, what about that back-to-back against Oklahoma City this week? Because Gerald, that Chet Holmgren is waiting for him. He's waiting for him. So are you going to take it easy because you think that Chet Holmgren is only 21, 22, and he doesn't have the physicality and the chops to take you one-on-one? Oh, he do. He's got that dog in him. So if you're going to take the OKC Thunder for granted, we might lose by 48, 49, Gerald, going down this road.
I can't say I blame you, Sean. So I ask you, Joe, when it comes right down to it, there should be some small changes being made after a game like this. Of course, I just said earlier, Cam Reddish has been now upgraded to probable, so he is probably going to play tomorrow. Whether or not LeBron and AD will play tomorrow, and or AD will play tomorrow, that'll be up for question because there is a back-to-back. Because remember, they play Oklahoma City on the backside, so you never know with these NBA players these days. But I know, Joe, you gave me that look. I'm not saying I'm wrong.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Let's go.
You cannot say that they haven't done it before. They might do it again because they're playing Detroit tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. We're still in November, Jesus.
But they should take no one for granted at this
point.
We're
still in November, man. I don't know if I could handle this for another 4 months. There's no way. I can't do this. I can't keep saying the same things over and over again. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to talk about something else within this hellhole of a. I'm going to repeat what I've told Sean. I hate everything that I don't like. And the world doesn't give me any reason not to hate it. I use the word hate, H-A-T-E, hate it, because either it's fluffy, either it's weak, either it's stupid, either that person's stupid, either that's a waste of life. It's just a waste of goddamn life, waste of energy. And every time there's this feeling that you're like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. You give it a shot, then you want to give yourself a shot for giving it a shot. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me how worthless things are when they are. I got better things I can do than watch a bunch of people who are getting paid $60 million a year. They don't give a crap. I really do. I have a lot of things I can do. And I don't like to be forced into something. And I feel like right now I'm getting forced into watching this trash. Although I do love doing the show and I love entertaining.
His last name is Sorrow. The only sorrow in his life is when he has to talk about the Lakers losing by 44, ladies and gentlemen. And I can, as a good friend of his, I could say that truthfully. I mean, honestly, he could. He's right. Pardon the interruption.
And that's where we're at, guys. It's a morbid and negative atmosphere because that's what they've produced. They continue to produce trash.
And it's Stink Town.
You know, you think you can get away, right? You know, you got some talent on this team. You think you can escape a little bit, watch some good basketball and watch some good games.
No, it's like that. It's like that car from Seinfeld that had the BO in it. Like, there's no getting away from the BO right now.
What you do is you're wasting your time, and that's that's the pet peeve I have in my life is my time being wasted. It's a time waster. It's It's referees dictating games every minute of the game too. By the way, that's the other thing that's killed football and basketball.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro, Magic Man Sean Grice, and along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching and listening. So I ask you, Magic Man, what changes would you make right now, or that you could make right now, given all the parameters right now, and so far is a disappointing 10-8 season?
So before I answer that question, Jaron, I will. I agree with Joe in some aspects, and I disagree with him in others. To me, it's like I love the game. To me, it's not a waste of time to watch it. I will say that to Joe's point, Gerald, if you had to put a word or two on what you've seen so far from the Lakers, in other words, what's their identity? What would you say their identity is right now, Gerald, at
They
10
don't
and
have
8?
one. They don't have one.
They don't have one. They don't have one. That's a great answer. That's the best answer you could come up with right now for them. They don't have one. So let's start there. What kind of identity do you want to forge with this team? Well, you basically have a lot of the same components you had from last year, right, Gerald? And even though you're dealing with injuries, you still have pretty good athletes on the floor. So, one big change, we are going to run and run hard in transition. We are not going to half step. We are not going to three-quarter step. We're going to go balls out, full bore, right down your throat from our basket to the nail. I'd start right there because you got a 39-year-old who's playing at uh, an effable level. I know that's a word that's never been used before in LFB, but I just used it. Um, he's playing at an ungodly, unseemly level of efficiency. Run it right down their throats. If we're gonna go this route, then let's go this route. You wanna burn them out again? Fine. Let's take that train and run it all the way down your throat because Anthony Davis doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to be the conductor. So LeBron's got to be the conductor at this point. Secondly, Gerald, I would, as soon as Vando comes back, he's in the starting lineup, and so is Cam. They're in the starting lineup with LeBron and AD, and we'll see what those four can do with the guard defensively because I want to see some minutes with Cam Reddish, Vando, and AD. And if he hasn't got his thumb up his ass, I think defensively that group can be terrorizing. But
The
we have to see them at peak health, all three of them.
CBS Sports is still reporting that Jared Vanderbilt will be out for tomorrow's game, but he is not listed yet for Oklahoma City. So we'll see. It sounds like he's close. Sounds like he's close.
Yeah,
So
Ham. From what Ham said, he said he's close as well. I mean,
Dante said this week, so we're holding Dante to it. There you go. I remember distinctly him saying that.
so that would be number two.
The
That would be
spokesperson, by the way,
yeah.
Dante from LFB, the spokesperson for Jared Vanderbilt.
Shout out Dante. Love Dante.
You do. We do.
Dolo.
Absolutely. Yes, my friend.
So there's a lot, right? I'm only on number three. Number three, Torian Prince is coming off the bench, and he's coming off the bench infrequently as soon as everybody is healthy.
You've just made a friend with Adam.
bogs down the spacing on offense badly, Gerald. He'll have a out of 6 or 7 games, he'll have one good shooting game, not even two. So you're talking about a quarter of the way through the season almost, and we can only get 3 or 4 good shooting outputs from him. Nope. Got to go to the bench, bro, because you're not playing the role that you were assigned for. I would immediately stick him in the bench, Gerald. Give the minutes to Rui.
Agreed.
Secondly, fourth, figure out what the F you're doing with Christian Wood, one way or the other. Figure it out, because defensively he is a sieve. And Gerald, you and me have talked about his bad defense. A lot of people didn't want to hear it, but I think a lot of people are on the train that Wood's a great offensive player, but defensively he's a sieve. So it's almost depending on the lineups, from Cleaning Glass or Spectrum, Gerald, he is a sum zero at best in some lineups. He's positive in some others, but it's going to be matchup dependent if he's still on this roster after the trade deadline, Gerald, or before then. 5, Darvin Ham needs to stop taking all his timeouts home with him. That's a big issue, and it's glaring, very glaring, because he is using his timeouts either non-existently or ineffectively. Um, the amount of runs that teams go on where he is just either it's paralysis. Gerald, I honestly think that his lack of feel for a game and his inept or just weird in-game adjustments is because of the paralysis by analysis. It's that constant analytics. I think that it's just going like sugar plum fairies in his head, all these numbers and all these different permutations and combinations of the shit on a stick that is the 3-guard lineup, and that's what I'm gonna call it. Shit on a stick. That's kind of what we're getting with the 3-guard lineup, even from last year. Um, absolutely awful. So I'd eliminate that. That's 6 right there. I could probably add 4 more, but I
Actually,
don't want
yeah.
to take up.
Jackson Hayes from the corner. Stop it! Stop it, for the love of God! No more Jackson Hayes threes. Jackson Hayes 3-point attempts. Absolutely no more. No more.
None.
No mas. No mas. No more, please. Unless we're leading by 40 and it's fun time with 2 minutes left in the game. I'll say that. No more. Go ahead, my friend. I'm sorry.
No.
I was hoping you
No,
would
I'm
mention that, but that's a sign of
no,
bad
no,
coaching.
that was
You
like
want to
on
know
the
about the
list,
level
Gerald.
of
That was like
coaching?
that was like number 9. I would have mentioned that one, but yeah,
I mean, when you have a player in your office because you're so focused on doing this 5-out thing because you think it's a trendy thing. I have to go and follow the trend everybody's doing because I think it's so cool and it's neat, and I'd like to go ahead and it's fun too. That it just puts players out there that are incapable of doing the things that you're asking, getting them far away from the basket. That's why you have no offensive rebounding. That's why he's not getting dunks for you when you need them when he's out there, except for that one game against the Cavs where he,
yeah,
God forbid, he was
Gerald.
right in there. They made plays for him. He makes dunks. They put him out onto the 3-point line. He shoots 3-pointers, which he cannot do.
Think about the center position in the NBA today a lot like you think of the safety position in football. Nothing between the safety and the end zone, right? He's the last line of defense, Gerald. That's the center position. Well, there are 2 different kinds of safeties. There are free safeties and strong safeties. Strong safeties are more the box safety. You're good inside the box. Think of center position like that. There's free range centers and there's more of box centers. Jackson Hayes is a box center, as Gerald described. He is there for offensive rebounding, dunks, lobs, putbacks, etc. That's his game. His game isn't being pulled out 25 feet to shoot threes. Why, man? Why? Exactly what Gerald was saying. You already have a problem with offensive rebounding, and you definitely have a problem with boxing out, and you still choose to put a force of nature inside the box outside. You're that is a dumb decision. It just is.
So I ask you guys, and once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. It is the Magic Man, Sean Grice, along with me, Gerald Glassford, and Joe Sorrell. Thanks so much for watching this. We truly appreciate it. Don't forget tomorrow, pregame, then also as well, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Join us, hopefully not for another dumpster fire as they face off against the Detroit Pistons. Then, of course, right back here for the postgame, the Lakers Fast Break. Joe, you know what? Let's say you are in charge. Let's say you're the man. Let's say, Magic Man has already listed out his things and notes of change. Where would you go with the kind of changes that you think can be made right now for the Lakers team?
I'd play it out until February, and then if they're hovering around 500, let's say maybe 2-3 games above 500, I would probably talk to Clutch and say, I want you to, out of respect, I want you to talk to Anthony Davis and tell him we're probably looking to trade him this summer. Actually, we're going to try and trade him this summer and see how the reaction is. LeBron James is a part of this, but not really. He'd probably want to get sent somewhere he wants to go, but I don't know who would be able to give the Lakers something. I don't know what the hell to do with LeBron if we trade AD. I really don't. We'd have to get something back that would work, but I don't think that's possible. But I'm about done with Anthony Davis. I can't keep doing this every week. He is not a focused player. He's lazy. He's mentally weak, and frankly, it's resonated everywhere. And I'm tired of these pussy ass players, man. I'm so freaking over it. I'm over all of them. I just want to shout on top of a mountain, and just say,
You could,
guys,
man. You
you
could,
know,
man. You got that Paul Bunyan voice, Joe.
And of course, 90% of these chumps would react to it and say something, right? All right. Say it. Show me. You guys are bitches, man. You are. Sorry, that's what you are. Prove it to me. James Harden, Anthony Davis, Paul George, Russell Westbrook. You're freaking snack.
Yeah, say it. Say it. Say
No,
it.
I'm not gonna say it.
Well, what do you think about Westbrook? Latest comments on.
You're weak, and I'd say it to your face, in front of all your boys. I don't get
Careful, Joe. You're not supposed to say it in front of Westbrook. He'll get mad at you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'd say it to his face. I'd say, you guys all succeeded in life. You guys are set for life. Hopefully you don't spend all that money. You guys succeeded. You guys do live a good life. But you still suck. You still suck. I watch you guys play. I want to throw up. You dilute the whole point of this. You guys are just like there. Yeah, you've won, Anthony Davis. Yeah, you've won your MVPs.
You may have a high basketball IQ, but you're, as far as human intelligence, you're dumb as all hell.
It doesn't matter. It's not going to solve anything.
It does matter. It does matter because you keep saying the word enable. I agree to some respects. One thing I won't enable, god damn it, is stupidity.
Yeah, but there's
no but. There's no but, Buster.
Where it doesn't matter is the general audience doesn't. It's just a couple people that are holding them accountable. That's it.
And that's why 4 Hall of Famers dumbing down reality, Joe. It sometimes life imitates art, right, Gerald? That's the old saying. Well, you got 4 Hall of Famers, and you're 8 and 9. You're the definition of mediocre. And allow me just to say, Gerald,
Oh
for
my
all the
gosh, Sacramento won at the buzzer to beat Golden State. I'm
yes,
so sorry.
I just saw that myself, Gerald.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wow.
What?
Sacramento just won at the buzzer.
Hmm.
They were behind by double digits most of the game. They came back and won, beat Golden State
If I'm not
124 to 123.
okay, if I think they're the second. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're the second wild card
Well, let
in
me.
the
I'll
in the
sort
West,
that out
Gerald.
here in a minute. Here, I'll let them sort out the NBA sort out. Give a few minutes, but yeah, we'll give an NBA recap, cup recap before we leave. But
But
go
yeah,
ahead, Sean. I'm sorry.
yeah, Gerald, that was tone deaf, tone blind, tone mute. What Paul George was talking about, it is beyond stupidity, beyond the pale of understanding the reality you're in. Like again, none of these guys have been in environments where they're not seeing people who actually work for a living. Their PR people, they're around all the time. They see them running around working for a living. They see the vendors running around working for a living. Some of them live in Indiana, Toronto, LA, New York. There's a lot of construction going on, Gerald. They see work. But somehow only real work is when they're working because nobody's been called the F word working at a grocery store, right, Gerald? Nobody's been called. Gerald worked in retail for 20 years as a manager. No one ever threw the F word at Gerald, called him a piece of you know what. Blah, blah. I've heard that my whole life, Gerald. We're with blue
I've been
collar
called
work.
every name in the book.
You
So is my
name,
mom.
yeah, yeah, you name it. I'm sure Joe could say the same thing. So where do you get the nerve to say that your profession is the only one that has criticism? Give me a break.
I've had people spit in my face. I've had people throw feces all over a bathroom after they didn't get a decision that they like. So I've been called, racial epithets. I've been insulted every which way kind of way over the past,
Absolutely, nearly
3 decades.
been sworn at, nearly sticked with a needle. So I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. Playoff P? No, you're troglodyte P because you live in a cave, bro. You live in a cave. You're a millionaire and these people still live in bubbles, Gerald. And that's what I was trying to talk about with Joe, with Genie Bus and the honeypot. Like, we live in a world where you can be vacuous enough to understand that we don't live in a vacuum, but some people do live in bubbles. And these morons is what I'm talking about. I don't
I
have
was at
time
the
for this.
checkout.
I
I
don't
was
have
at
time for stupidity. I
I was at
don't.
I was at the
Go
checkout
ahead,
line.
Joe.
Yeah, I was at the checkout line at the supermarket a few days ago, and there was a picture of Gwyneth Paltrow on one of those People magazine type things, and the title said something about how her tough year, something about how she had a tough year. I'm looking at that magazine, and I wanted to kick the magazine and hope that I could virtually kick her in the face if that's actually what she said. Now, she's always been a pretentious gas bag.
Fruitcake. Fruitcake.
Yeah, I mean, absolute gas bag. But man, somebody actually wrote an article and posted it and sold it, and people are buying that. And you're wondering why people are stupid?
It's
Why the
probably
hell would
AI.
I want to
It's
hear
probably
about that?
AI. It's probably AI generated, like Sports
What
Illustrated
the
and Women's
hell?
Health.
Why the hell do I need to know? Why do we need to know why she had a bad year?
Why?
Screw her and her year and her. Like, what is going on here? Oh, speaking of Shallow Hal, one of my favorites, that freaking dimwit regrets doing that film. They all regret doing those films that were shaming or saying weird things. I go, man, you guys are sellouts beyond sellouts. You guys would sell your children to get ahead or to get around something. Scum of the earth. most of these people are scum of the earth, and a lot of them have the money. They're usually the ones that have money and fame are usually scum of the earth. We're getting way too into the negative of life in general here. So I'm going to stick I'm going to go back to basketball here.
Reel you back in.
Yeah.
Into the Lakers.
The game tomorrow is not going to mean anything unless, of course, no one shows up, meaning AD and LeBron. They can blow out Detroit.
Not. L-Rob will be there. L-Rob will be there paying his money to watch the game.
Yeah. And I hope he enjoys it because, when sports are really good in Detroit, Gerald, the people come out. But when the Pistons are bad, that is
like now.
Yeah.
That's why he'll probably have some really good seats.
Well, you know something, Gerald? Maybe we'll get our 3-point percentage up to about 34%.
Well, I'm not.
Which would be probably the attendance. Which would probably be the attendance at Detroit tomorrow.
This team, Magic Man, I am not taking anything for granted, even though you'll probably hear the echoes. Yes, and maybe you'll hear the sneakers. It'll be so quiet, but we'll see. Joe, go ahead. We didn't mean that's our bad interrupting you. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow's not going to mean anything. There might be some meaning the game after. Maybe they'll produce some kind of ball sack to play well on a second back-to-back. AD, I'm looking at you. And they continue to play like this, you're going to see morbid posts, morbid discussions. I want something to resonate. I want something out there to get to these people because that's all I got left at this point. If this is how they're going to play, if this is the product they're going to put on the court, I want at some point our words to resonate somewhere, and I'm hoping it could hit a nerve or something. We're talking about hitting nerves with Paul George and the Russell Westbrooks. I think I'm pretty clear on what I would tell Russell Westbrook on his attitude towards people treating them like garbage. Well, stop treating them like garbage with trash play. You play like crap. I mean, you tell me if somebody was, let's say, a taxi driver or an Uber driver, and Russell Westbrook, every time he ordered a Uber or a taxi, that same guy was late, had a messy seat, had no respect in terms of whatever. How do you think Russell Westbrook would react?
He'd give him a 1 star and probably tell him that I'm giving you a 1 star because of all that, Joe.
So there, when people again are living in their own dream world of everything needs to be the way I want it to be. People are paying $150, especially if they're that close, $150 to $300 and above for those tickets. Now, if they're calling your wife, if they're calling your children names, they're abusing or verbally abusing your family, like those are different. That's a different situation. But if they're saying that you suck, which we've seen a video of somebody say, Westbrook, you suck. And he's like, what? Right? Dude, you sucked. What? You sucked ass, actually. So what now? You're going to point at all 500 of the people who think you suck in that stadium? And that's putting it nicely. It's probably more like 3,000 or 4,000. But that again, and that's not counting the people that are constantly
and the point, like that's a great segue, Joe and Gerald. If we could segue into the NBA recap, that goes to show it. Denver was missing their 3 best players, and they punked you. And you can't take the criticism. You could, and it goes again to what Joseph says a lot. You can dish it out, but can you take it when you have a bad day at the office? He often asks that a lot.
And the thing is, this Ballmer guy, he's supposed to be this smart guy, right?
Develop it.
Because he's a billionaire, right? Everybody thinks because you're rich, you're smart, right? That's what they think.
Yes, sir.
What do? You go trade for James Harden out of all people.
Yeah.
Clippers already sucked before this trade. They really suck now, and they're going to continue to suck, and they're going to lose because they're a loser franchise. Doesn't matter who the owner is, even though this owner is much better than the old one in terms of person. They are a loser with loser players. Okay, yeah. And this going to Kawhi, we're what do you mean losers? Why are you saying that, Joe? They're not losers. No. What I mean by the word loser is every one of these guys, when they don't get what they want, have done the same thing in their careers. And I'll give you an example. Kawhi Leonard didn't have his ass kissed in San Antonio. He has to get out. Paul George couldn't get his skanks and his whatever that he likes during the bubble. You saw what happened there. James Harden, the poster boy for crying and whining, and by the way, getting what he wants on top of it. This is your team. You want to win with this? I'd rather win with Nick Nolte's team before he got Shaq, Penny, and that kid from Indiana in blue chips. I'd rather win because they play hard, but it wasn't good enough. Not good enough for me, not good enough for anybody, right? At least at some point, see, as a Laker fan, we can say that because we've seen so much winning. But and at the same time, it's kind of a curse because you start feeling like you're entitled to win. But I'm at the point now where I'm tired of watching mediocrity from great players, or at least what we call great players. LeBron James is a great player, right? You can say AD's a great player, sort of, when he wants to. Is he really a great player, though, if he's sort of there? What's a great player? To me, there's usually only a handful of great players. There's not really a lot. We've diluted that word. And the constant mediocrity, the constant just bad decisions in leadership, bad decisions in roster construction, bad decision in drafting players. At some point, it's all going to come to a head. And this is what it is. And we're going to have to just do the play-by-play, game in and game out on exactly what's going on. We are a show that's become pretty much negative Nancy. Why? Because the Lakers have given us a reason to be negative.
We're too grouchy. That's what I heard. We're too cranky.
Yeah, but I can tell a lot of the emails the last few weeks that it's gotten softer because
tempered down.
They can't come back with anything anymore. It's done. This is stuff we were talking about even when they were winning. They're not winning the way you're supposed to win with this kind of talent. Their fundamentals, their focus is not there. It just isn't. They don't care. Why should we care if they don't care? The only good that's going to come out of this is good banter now, good discussions of entertainment, calling these guys chumps, seeing if Russell Westbrook's going to find where we live and knock on our door. That'd be kind of funny. It's not going to work. It's not going to work at this point with whatever they're doing over there. And they have a couple months to figure this out. Otherwise, if I was in charge, I would call up Clutch and say, guys, we're going a different direction. We're going a different direction. And Denver has shown that they stuck to the fundamentals, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a team concept there. It's possible, guys. I don't see anything too crazy out in Boston. Boston seems to be playing together. Hell, even Milwaukee, even with a new coach, they're playing well together, and they've got new pieces there. What is it? What is it about the Lakers? Why can't they focus? Maybe it's because one of their big players can't focus either. Now he can lead the way, and LeBron isn't going to get in your face, guys, and that's just. It's probably cost him a couple titles. There's half of it is his fault. The other half it isn't his fault. He's never had a true great coach like a Phil Jackson or a Pat Riley for an extended period of time. I'm sorry, Eric Spoelstra is a very good coach to me, but I he doesn't come up as a guy in the Pat Riley, Phil Jackson area, or even Greg Popovich. So I know that some people will argue that, but that's just how I feel. It's not a I'm not dissing him. I mean, he is who he is, and he's done well. He's great, or he's very good. But again, a lot has been left on the table because of that kind of attitude. I'm more into getting in your face and really.
Okay, so
making
a team, an upstart team, Gerald, that plays their fundamental game won a big game tonight. Timberwolves beat the Thunder. That upstart team is playing well offensively. And what do? What's their bread and butter, Gerald? High screen and roll, Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert running to the basket, Gerald, running. They do that better than anybody. Better
How
than
many
the
pick and
Lakers.
rolls do LeBron and AD run in a game?
Oh my God. It's
Could
got to
count
be
on
yeah,
less than one hand.
one hand. Yeah. About 3, maybe.
Just think if they did. Instead
You'd
of
have
worrying
that-
about going ISO with 5 out, just 4 guys standing there along the corner looking stupid with their hands in their pockets like their coach.
You'd be as efficient or more efficient as them, considering the 2 players running it. But hey, like Gerald said, maybe you run ISO and live with the results.
Pick and roll top of the key with LeBron and AD.
Well,
with someone in the
for
dunker
that to
spot.
work, AD has to set a good screen, which for some weird reason he can't, and he can't create any space off the dive. So how is he going to do? How is he going to be consistent on the pick and roll? I know John Stockton and Karl Malone. When you see tape of them, I know they made it look easy, but there's actually a structure to a good pick and roll. And then you have guys who are very athletic who can nudge him a little bit, but that's all it takes to get AD off his game. That's it. It's over, guys. I don't see this thing getting any better. I'll be honest. AD would have to play the way he's supposed to play the rest of the year, every game, but he doesn't do it.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro along with Magic Man Sean Grice. Thanks so much for watching, listening. Before we head on out, I wanted to ask you this. Guys, when it comes to what we're seeing next week with the NBA Cup, I am going to show now on the screen the standings right there as they've been updated after Malik Monk's last second shot to get the victory for the Sacramento Kings. I'll start with the Eastern Conference right there. And to answer the question from Coolbro, I put it in the comments right there. When it comes right down to it, though, my friend Sean, look at now, you got a lot of teams. Indiana Pacers, one of the surprise teams in the NBA. Looks like that the Milwaukee Bucks, and then you got Boston Celtics. So I think the matchup is Boston at Indiana, and then Milwaukee at New York, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, New York at Milwaukee. So there you go, as far as that's concerned. And then in the West, you've got coming up right here, you've got the Lakers are hosting Phoenix, like we had talked about earlier. And then you also have Sacramento, and that's going to be New Orleans at Sacramento. So going to be a tough game come next Tuesday for the Lakers against Phoenix, my friend.
Absolutely, Gerald. And just to be frank, I think the Sacramento Kings have a problem with the New Orleans Pelicans, Gerald. So,
which New Orleans Pelicans team is going to show up?
Well, I mean, I think Zion just gives them a lot of problems, Gerald. So it's going to be tough, right? I mean, the Lakers have beaten the Suns twice this year, but I mean, it's come down to the last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter, both times, Gerald. Something tells me, I mean, if it's a close game again, I gotta take, because it's a law of averages, Gerald. In games decided by 5 points or less, the Lakers are 7-3 this year, Gerald. We have a really great record um, when the games are close at the end, but they're so nitty gritty that they could go either way. So I'm expecting the same kind of game. I'm just, man, are we going to beat the Suns 3 times in a row? I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but given the way the Suns have been playing, winners of 7 in a row, looking to be 8 in a row soon. So it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough.
Joe, last question I think for you was left by Mission 24. And I truly appreciate all the great comments. Best Lakers chat room that's out there is the Lakers Fast Break. As always, we truly appreciate it. Is this season in the refrigerator? The door's closed, the lights are out, butter's getting hard, eggs are cooling.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not winning a championship this year. Yeah, that's it. They don't win a championship. This is for nothing. If you're not winning a championship, or at least showing some kind of concern to win a championship, then you're essentially wasting everyone's time. We can be developing. I don't even know if that's true either, but I'm just I can't continue to watch this trash. So unless somebody decides that they are trash and they don't want to be trash, I don't see anything, and I'm just not going to listen to nonsense. I mean, I normally don't, but there are some times where I want to not destroy the room. But no, I'm sorry for all the emails, Rodell, all those guys. I'm sorry, guys. I know who's a good player and I know who isn't. I know who's playing and I know who's not. This is something I do, guys. This is what we do. I'm not going to listen. I'll respect your opinion and your decision. But I'm sorry, most of you guys that have argued against some of the things we've said, they're just wrong. Not because I want to be right. It's just what it is. You have to come to grips with this. You don't need to react the way I do. I like the way I react to things. Makes me feel good because it lets it out. I don't want to sit here and bottle it up and wonder what's going on. No. I'm a guy that likes to release the problems. That's why. I don't know why that's funny.
Think about what you just said.
No, I was thinking about it when I was saying
John's face is turning red.
Think about what you just said.
I was thinking about it before I said what I said, and I go, "There's no way they're gonna get this out of that," and it did, anyways.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't. Damn boner.
Continue.
So I don't know what the hell that was, but anyways.
I'm a guy that likes to release.
It release anger.
Continue. I'm good.
You all right, Gerald?
Well, just trying to keep it together. I'm good. Go ahead, my friend.
Good. Anyways. So my final thoughts. I'll see you tomorrow evening. Enjoy your night.
Tip your waitress.
Go Lakers. Hopefully. That's it. That's all I got, guys.
That's a busy day, PMC. Very busy day. Once again, it is the Lakers
I was
Fast
too busy
Break.
to do any releasing today.
I don't think I wanted an explanation too much in
you
detail.
guys forced it.
Yes. Apple won't like that very much when I put it on their platform. Unless I put explicit on it. But I don't really want to do that. Lakers in 5, salute to you. Truly appreciate it. Keep up the great work on your channel. Go ahead and subscribe today wherever you get your podcast. But also as well, go ahead and subscribe here. Please like and subscribe to get the latest notifications or when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break. Once again, we'll be on tomorrow for the pregame. Then, of course, as well, tomorrow for the full game. That's going to be tomorrow I think it's at 4 or 5 o'clock start time. Let me go ahead and check it out right now. It is going to be a 4 o'clock start time Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. That's playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Go ahead and join us there. And then the post game right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Don't forget as well, magicmind.com. That's magicmind.com. Great supplement that Magic Man has been using. They say it can increase your focus, awareness, and do a lot more. Go ahead and check out what it can do. If it's right for you, get a 15. Go get a 15 or 30 bottle order. Use the code Lakers20 for 20% off. Magic Man, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, to be fair, Gerald, like around this time in the Northeast, especially now, you would get a cold. At this point in time, I don't have one. The only causation is Magic Mind.
Well, let's say we don't know that yet. We don't know if it, but yeah, it's been helping him. So maybe it can help you too. We don't know. It's always good to give it things a try. And if you do, you want to go ahead and try it. You think it's something right for you. Use the code Lakers20 in the checkout to get 20% off your order today from Magic Mind, magicmind.com. All right, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, we will not endure the same pain. And if we endure it against a team like Detroit, that's really saying something. We will be going off like a firecracker on the post game. That's for sure. Or even during the game at playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. So I'll tell you what, go ahead and join us for that, the pregame, the postgame, and more. Just check us out. Make sure you like and subscribe. Do what you can to go ahead and help us out. We truly appreciate it. And we always welcome you right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.